Okay, week 3, algebra 1, here we go. Quizzes 1, 2, and 3. Whew. The younger kids get shorter videos in general, but we take our time here. Algebra 1 has a lot of material, so it is a good idea to be doing this course, because there's a lot of places to get stuck, and this will give you a good foundation. All right, so let's start with quiz 1. Find the constant of proportionality. So in Math 7, you learn that the constant of proportionality is y over x. So we can take any y value and divide it by any x value. But I noticed that 35 divided by 7 is 5. Ta-da. And I could have taken the other two y's and divided by those x's. It would have been 5 as well. Which relationships have the same constant of proportionality? All right. So we want to talk about that. Okay, so the constant of proportionality is the coefficient of x when the y-intercept is 0. So in 8th grade, you learned that y equals mx plus b. That's slope-intercept form. But this is a specific case of slope-intercept form when b equals 0. It's just y equals mx. Okay, this is the constant of proportionality. Is now the slope has a special name called the constant of proportionality because there's no y-intercept, and so the ratios will be the same. So how do we see it on the graph? On the graph, it's y over x. In the equation, it would be the slope as long as the y value is solved for. So right here, it's 3/4. Right here would be 8 over 6, which is 4/3. Here I have to divide both sides by 6, so I get 8 over 6 or 4/3. Okay, so we already got one. So we want 4/3. Okay, so this is 2, 1. That's not 4/3. 4/3 right there. And this would be 3/4. So it's A and C. But I said that choose two answers, which are the same. Which relationships have the same between y over x as the following graph? 8. Oh, do you know what? Look what I did. 8 over 6. That's x over y. Y over x would be 6 over 8. So I had it flipped in my mind, flipped upside down. So there we go. Now I know it's B and E. Yellow problem for Mr. Field. Although all the things I said was correct, I flipped the x and y when I was looking at the graph. So you be careful not to do that as well. Which table has a constant of proportionality between y and x of 10? So y over x. So that 20 over 2, would that not be 10? That's 10. 90 over 9, that's 10. Uh-oh. 90 over 9, 20 over 2. Hold on. All right, true story. I just paused the video because my wife was calling me, but it gave me more time to think about this. Now, when I was thinking about it, I was like, both of these are 10. 90 over 9 is 10. And also, 20 over 2 is 10. But what about 132 divided by 12? I found it. So 132 divided by 12 is 11. So it is not A because not all the X and Y's are 10. C is looking more promising, so let's scroll down. 14 over 40, that's 10, and that's 10, so it's C. All right, feel good now. Jameson collects eggs for his chickens every day. The graph shows the approximate number of eggs Jameson collects over a couple of days. Okay, what does 4.5 mean in this situation? All right, so when we have a graph, look at the labels. Those labels tell you the variables. So X is days, Y is eggs. And so we know that 1 day, 4.5 eggs, So in 1 day, the chicken lays 4.5 eggs, or the chickens. That's what it means. So Jameson has 4 or 5 chickens? No. Jameson collects 4 or 5 eggs per day? Yes. It takes 4.5 days? No, it takes 1 day. You see? So just knowing what the variables represent, you can write a sentence to make sense of the problem. 7, using what I said earlier. Okay, 6.5. So why don't you use what I did with the graph and see if you can figure out something like that. But that does not count, what I just did right there, because I was not even reading it. A, B, and C show proportional relationships. Which line has a constant of proportionality? So find a point on each line and do the y over x and find the one that is 2/3. And all right, you can do it. Quiz 2. The following table shows the height of a plant at different ages. Is the height of the plant proportional? If it's proportional, then that implies there is a constant of proportionality, which means I can divide y over x, and they're all the same for all of them. So all the y over x's are equal. So like 12 over 3, 35 over 7, and 60 over 10. Well, this is 6, and this is 5. It's not proportional because none of those are equal. But they would all have to be equal for it to be proportional. An employee earns an hourly wage. Find the hourly wage. All right, so again, I'm looking at my labels, hours, earnings. So 1 hour, the earnings in 1 hour would be the hourly wage. And so that would be $40 in 1 hour. It's practically given to me. Okay. Which of the following mixtures of paint could be used as the missing values in the table? All right, so let's look at this. I'm looking at the pattern in the table. 28 to 20 is -8. 10.5 to 7.5 is -3. And then, oh, is this proportional? Did it say that? Didn't say that. Okay. Then 7.5 to 9 is actually plus 1.5. And then this is plus 4. So there is a pattern here. Okay. A row is missing in the table. So, oh, it goes 10.5, 7.5 to 9. So it's like it went down, then up. But 28, but if we do 28 divided by 10.5, we get 2.6 repeating. If we do 20 divided by 7.5, we get 2.6 repeating, and I'm assuming. All right, so this has a constant of proportionality of 2.6 repeating. So which one of these choices is 2 point? So, divide and find the ones that are 2.6 repeating. Let's do it. 5 divided by 1.25? No. How about 4 divided by 1.25? Yes. 3 divided by 8? No. 16 divided by 7? No. It better be 12 divided by 4.5. Woo, it is. There we go. All right. Answer 2 questions about the table. Natalie is an expert archer. The following table shows her scores based on the number of targets she hit. Plot the ordered pairs. Well, you can do that, and then you can figure out if it's proportional. I'm sure you can do that based on what we did. Mumbai is approximately 845 kilometers away from Bangalore, and Mumbai is approximately 1,160 kilometers away from Delhi. The distances measured in centimeters between the cities on Allison's map are proportional to the real distances. Which of the following could be the distances on Allison's map? All right, so divide, and find the ones that match. You could do it. Quiz 3. A robot moves at a constant speed. The distance it moves and the time it spends moving are shown in the table. Write an equation to describe the relationship. Okay. So is this proportional again? I think. So what we would do to figure that out, we would just divide all of the numbers. So I got 0.7, 10.5 divided by 15, I got 0.7, and 14 divided by 20. Yep, it's proportional, guys. So that means we got the y equals mx. And so I just found the constant of proportionality was 0.7 when I divided y over x. So it's y equals 0.7x. What in the world? 7/10. Okay, so your answer includes the wrong variable. Whoopsie daisies. Okay, so d equals 0.7 t. There we go. You get it wrong, just find your mistake. Probably did most of it correct. Graph the line that represents a proportional relationship between y and x, where the unit rate of change of y with respect to x is 10/7. In other words, a change of 1 unit in x corresponds to a change of 10/7 units in y. Graph the line and write the equation. So, constant of proportionality is 10/7. So that means it's going through 0, 0, and 10/7. So would it be right there? 10/7. 10 y over x. Y is 10. X is 7. Okay, there we go. And the equation is y equals 10/7x. Wangari plants trees at a constant rate of 12 for every 3. Write an equation. I think that, skipping it. Mandy works construction. She knows that a 5-meter long metal bar has a mass of 40. Mandy wants to figure out the mass of a bar with that's 3 meters long, the same thickness. What is the mass of the shorter bar? And so they are proportional, right? So, we can solve this in many ways. using the same type of things that we've been doing. But if I was just looking at this problem, having seen nothing about it before, I would set up a table. And, we have, what is the mass of the shorter bar? Okay, so in meters, mass. Okay, so the mass is what we want to figure out, and the meters is what we know. So we'll consider the mass the dependent variable. So we know that 5 is 40, and then we know 3 question mark. So they are proportional because they get the same thickness. So 40 over 5 is 8, right? So we want to figure out whatever this is. Let's call it y. Y over 3 equals 8. So what do? Multiply by 3, and we get 24. So I'm just showing you that because a lot of times when I have information from word problems, I create a table to help me make sense of the problem. And I encourage you to do the same. A unicorn daycare center requires there are 2 supervisors for every 18 baby unicorns. Write an equation that shows the relationship. I think you can do that. All right, so that's quizzes 1, 2, and 3. Now you try and post in the organizer at least 6 times.